This is a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would be a lot like streaming, but turns out that recording a video is very, very different from streaming. Talking feels quite the same, but it feels a little bit more lonely. This is a bit of a strange topic. I've never really made any videos on this before, and this is actually going to be my first video, so starting off strong. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sylvie. I'm a 21-year-old streamer who has been streaming for the past 3 years on Twitch, and I'm currently delving into short-form content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and I am just now, in this moment, starting my journey posting videos on YouTube. For those of you who do know me, welcome back. It is great to see you, and I hope you enjoy this video. It's taken a lot to get to this point, to be able to have this assessment, much longer than it should have in the first place. I should have had this assessment when my mum first recognized these traits in me. She recognized them in me at a very young age, but there are a lot of complicated family dynamics that made it hard to even consider I could have autism or ADHD. I myself did not know until earlier this year when my mum brought it up to me. I had no idea that this is something I could have. Growing up, I used to think there was something, quote, wrong with me, but my mum told me that there was nothing wrong with me. She said that I'm normal and that I'm fine the way I am, and that I'm a beautiful person, as I am, and I believed her. But I did for a long time think I was different, and I was convinced. But she would just tell me that everything's fine, that there's nothing wrong with me, and I believed her. Originally, we were going to go with the NHS, but for many reasons, we ended up going private, actually. And I have found a wonderful group of women who specialize in female-only autism or ADHD. And so we've decided to go with them. And I have an appointment with them for my assessment on Saturday, which I leave for tomorrow because it is quite the drive. And I won't be back until the day after. It is quite the trip for this. I'm not really sure where this is going, I'm gonna be honest. I am kind of winging this with a very vague idea of where I want to take this and how I want to record this, so this could end up looking really messy, and I'm kind of okay with that. And thank you for being here. Even if it's just me that watches this, then I think it'll still be nice to have anyway. But if there is anyone watching this, then thank you for being here. I really appreciate that, and I hope that this story somehow helps you in any way, whether it's just, you know, distracting you from something or making your day better, or you can relate and this is validating for you, then I hope it can do so for you. It's the night before and I'm ready for bed, and I'm still nervous. I hope that I can sleep well tonight and fall asleep early enough, because I have a lot to do tomorrow before I actually leave. I have to do the weekly shopping tomorrow, and we're getting up early and we're leaving later, and we're hopefully doing it quicker than we've done it before. We have to go to 3 different shops, and I have to shop for the whole week for a family of like 8 people, so it's gonna be a lot to do. I'm basically getting up and getting out of the house and go, and then I still have to pack, because I was originally gonna pack tonight, but my mum wanted to do it tomorrow because she was just knackered, and we have to pack some of the same stuff, like toiletries and stuff, and I think she's got something that she's putting it in, and I figured it would be better if we just put our stuff in the same one, and then we have our clothes separate and stuff. So it's just easier if I do it tomorrow, and you know, it would go better with some B-roll recording, because I'd have better lighting than I would now, because this is not very good lighting. That's my lighting, so it would be better. And it gave me time to relax tonight and play some Phasmo with some friends, which was really nice. We laughed a lot, actually. Chortle and I found some doors that squeak and make weird sounds in Blaisdell Farmhouse. It was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm still just feeling nervous. I was hoping that I wouldn't feel this nervous, but I do feel a little bit like the past few days my stomach's been feeling a little bit off and strange, which is usually a sign of nerves. I have no idea how awful I'm gonna feel day of. I know I'm gonna have to eat before we leave. I'm gonna have to have my breakfast on Saturday. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I don't know if I can stomach it. I hope I can stomach it, because I'm gonna need my energy because it's a full day assessment. It's a really long one. I'm not entirely sure the reasons why yet. I think it's because it's a double ADHD and autism assessment. And I think there was also something about the fact that I answered that I had childhood trauma, because they do face-to-face and over video, and they basically told me in our pre-assessment video call that I would have to come in for a face-to-face one because I said that I had childhood trauma and stuff like that. Yeah, so they want to differentiate between trauma in ADHD and autism, which is why I have to go for an in-person assessment, which is why we have to drive for so long to go up to where they are. But I didn't want to go anywhere else. They seemed like the best option, and I want to get a proper assessment, and with them I trust that I'm getting a real assessment of somebody who understands me. So there's that. Today was also really stressful because it turns out I'd really f***ed up with the questionnaires and one of the forms I had to fill out. I thought I'd done it all right. Turns out I misread something and didn't fill like 5 of them out that I was supposed to, which meant, no, not 5, it was, I only filled out 1 out of 5. So there were 4 that I hadn't yet filled out, and I was supposed to fill that out weeks ago. I didn't realise that though, so I just felt really bad and I got really stressed about that today. Which didn't help the whole anxiety I have about the situation, because I don't want to make things difficult for them either. I don't want them to have to rush to read all of that and to analyse it and go through it all, which they pretty much probably have to do now. Which I don't like. It's not a fun thought to have. It's really, really unpleasant to have, actually. I don't like making things difficult for people, so we got that to deal with. But hopefully it'll be fine. I mean, they assess autistic and ADHD people, and this could be a very autistic ADHD type thing, you know? I don't know. But yeah. So I'm gonna sleep, go to bed, hopefully get some good night, just rest. You can see my book up there. So yeah, that's a bad angle. I'm gonna go to bed, and I will see you guys tomorrow bright and early, and for a very long trip. So I was right in that I was not going to sleep well last night. I kept waking up. So I am very tired today. And we also have shopping to do, and then packing still. And then we have a really, really, really long drive. I don't know how I'm going to survive the drive. I've got 3 books to take. I'm going to take my phone for music, obviously. Can't live without music. But I am just dead tired right now. and my hay fever is also acting up, so I hope that doesn't last particularly long, because I don't really want to be sneezing and leaking out of my nose all over the appointment. So hopefully it's gone by tomorrow, otherwise I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Which is kind of adding a little bit of stress as well. This morning's also been really hectic. I'm just waiting now for us to be ready to go shopping, because I got ready really early because of nerves and leftover energy from I don't even know what, because I didn't get a good night's sleep, so energy definitely didn't come from there. I might catch up on my sleep a little bit in the car, see if I can do that. Sometimes I can fall asleep in the car, other times I can't, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'm about to sneeze, so that's fun. Yeah, it looks like we're ready to go. So I will catch you guys on the drive over. Side note, I've been filming everything in the absolute wrong dimensions. I've been filming everything with my phone straight. I should be doing it like this, because it's a YouTube video. We're gonna have some strange angles. But that's fine. It's part of the authentic process of whatever documentary kind of thing I'm filming. It's like a mini documentary. It's like a mini documentary kind of thing. I guess that's kind of the style I'm going for. I don't really know what style of video this is. I'm kind of just winging it, like I said, last night, but for you guys, probably a few minutes ago. Did I say that? I'm honestly... There's so much that I said last night, and I don't know what's all gonna end up in the video or not. Because I also said some really personal stuff that I don't know if I can share yet. So there's also that I'm not sure about, if that's gonna show up or not. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I just realized I'm not looking at the camera. Camera's there. I'm looking at myself, but that's not actually looking at the camera. The camera's right there. The day ended up being quite busy because obviously we had to do the shopping, and on top of that, we then had to still pack and leave. So my day was really full on that Friday. The shopping was fine. It was quite fun. I had some pastries and stuff, which was nice. But the packing itself got really, really, really stressful. I felt like I didn't have enough time, and so I started then getting stressed, and I was worried that I would be missing things, and I tried to be as organized as possible and to pack it well, but then between packing and filming it, I just got completely stressed. I packed some books, some self-help kind of books. It was going to be a long car ride, so I decided to use that time to read the books that I've been wanting to read. And these are all self-help books, which I really, really been wanting to read. And the one that I ended up reading and didn't finish, because I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to, was a book called The Four Agreements, which my mum recommended to me. Good book, highly recommend to anyone who's into self-help and self-growth and stuff like that. Definitely recommend. This is me ready to go with my backpack and my bag with my little badges and stuff. I actually ended up getting my little Sylvie, so I had to go and grab that. I ended up running up the stairs and saying that I forgot my emotional support Sylvie. When we got in the car, I was feeling pretty good, mostly nervous, but things were looking good. The weather was nice. The car had airco, which was really nice because it kept me from getting way too overheated. I also had a bunch of space in the back seat because it was just me and my bags, so I had plenty of space and I was very, very comfortable. The plan ended up getting changed last minute, which I was not aware of. It actually really stressed me out, because the original plan was to leave on the Friday, stay the night there, and then the next day on the Saturday to go for my assessment. And then that night I was supposed to also stay up there. That didn't end up happening. The plan got changed. We were only going to stay there one night, and I was going to be leaving the same day as my assessment. And I wasn't sure when my assessment would be finished, so for all I know, we could be getting back at 1 in the morning. I really enjoyed starting the book and reading, and with the book and me listening to music at the same time, it was just really, really nice. There's gonna be parts of me narrating the trip and parts of me just talking about what it's gonna be like, because I'm kind of trying to go in chronological order. So between what's happening and what I'm thinking of feeling, there's gonna be kind of jumps and cuts in between what I'm talking about. So I hope that's not too confusing. We had a few stops along the way, which made the drive a little bit longer, but they were all pretty nice stops in my opinion. I quite enjoyed them. A lot of them looked quite nice, so I took some videos of the stops that we visited, and you'll be seeing that as the B-roll, along with all the footage I got of the nice countryside that I really enjoyed looking at it actually. It was very beautiful. One of the rest stops we went to was actually near Silverstone, and we actually ended up driving past Silverstone, which I thought was so cool. I didn't get to see the track from where we were driving, but it was just really cool to know that we were driving past Silverstone. I really hope I can go to Silverstone one day. I'm quite conflicted about whether I do or don't want the diagnosis. There are many things that I've been thinking about, and it's really confusing and conflicting. And it's been like a war raging inside my head. Yes, no, just screaming at each other. As I was saying, on one hand, if I do get them, then it will explain so much. It'll be like a weight has been lifted off of my chest, a huge weight, and I will understand why things happened the way they did and why certain people treated me a certain way, especially that. Yes, I struggled in day-to-day life, and yes, I struggled with education, but especially why I got treated a certain way. Recently, looking back socially, I realized that it may very likely be because of autism and ADHD. And people treated me a certain way because of it. There was a big lack of compassion, and if I do get the diagnosis, then it'll be like a weight has been lifted on my chest and I finally know why. I've always been wanting to know why, and I've never knew why. And I know that it's never, ever justified. But there will suddenly be a reason. And on the flip side, that is also why I don't want the diagnosis. Suddenly it gives a reason to it. It's never okay. It is never okay to treat people badly, or to bully people, or to do whatever was done to me. But suddenly there is a concrete reason I can pinpoint. And so that's also why I don't want the diagnosis, because suddenly in my head it validates it. And I know it can never be validated. None of it can ever be okay. But if there's suddenly a reason why, suddenly it's more quote-unquote okay. Oh, there was a reason for it though. They did that because of this. It ties in with my fear of being reduced to autism or ADHD. I'm someone who is not a fan of labels, if I'm honest. I would not even identify as bisexual if it wasn't something I felt made social interaction easier. For me, I'm just me. I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to, that's it. I have my preferences, that's it. But often it's easier to just tell people I'm bisexual versus going into a whole spiel of what I'm attracted to. So I just say I'm bisexual. I don't like to be put into a box or have a label. I am just me. I am Sylvie. I'm a woman. I'm living on this planet. I don't even really identify as Dutch or German. I am just me. I'm a child of this planet and I live here. So to then have another label put on me, something that people can use to reduce me as that. Often women already get reduced to just a woman, and I already experienced difficulties being bisexual. You know, people treat bisexuals differently. There is a lack of acceptance for bisexuals even in LGBTQ spaces, and having another label gives another reason for people to potentially not want to be around me. And it's another box for me to be stuck in. And I don't want to be reduced to autism or ADHD, because that then suddenly opens it up to people brushing me off, brushing my feelings and thoughts off by just saying, oh, but she has autism. Oh, she has ADHD. Just leave it. she's got that wrong with her. She's, again, in quotes, wrong. She's like that, just leave it. And instead of seeing me for the human being and person that I am. This comes from having seen it happen to someone. I have a sister who is also autistic, and I will not go into much of her story out of respect for her and her privacy, but I will share a little bit that she is okay with me sharing. She has been reduced to her autism. She has been reduced to the difficulties that she has. She has been just labeled and then stuck to that for a long time, and it's caused her difficulties. After watching her deal with autism, I am quite scared, honestly. She has not had a good experience with it. Now she's wonderful though, she's doing great. But, you know, growing up was really horrible for many reasons. Now having it potentially changes my entire worldview. Everything is changing, and yet nothing is changing. I always thought I was one way, only to discover I could actually be entirely different. Nothing about me will change, but how I perceive myself is going to change immensely. Suddenly, there's something else to it. There's something new, and maybe the fear of that change is autistic of me. I don't know, because I have yet to find out whether I do have it or not. But it's a lot to think about. A lot. And I've spent so long mulling it over. So long lying awake in bed, so long speaking to people about it, so long dwelling on the fact that my life could change forever right now. In a good way, in a bad way, in both. It could also not really change that much at all. But there will be little things that change, even if it's nothing big. I don't really know what I'm hoping for with this. I guess the only thing I'm really hoping for is to understand myself better, know myself. That's one of my only goals on this earth, really. To figure myself out, to learn about myself and get to know myself. To live the human experience, and this is part of that. Even if it's scary, it's part of that, and I welcome it. Once we got there, we ended up going for dinner. I wasn't feeling great, so I didn't want to have too much food. The room was a disaster. I didn't get to pick it, so I had no say in the matter, but it was a horrible room. As you can see, there's my mum right there, laying on the bed. We were sharing a room. There was mold, there was spiders in the corners, the mirror was broken, and the bathroom was horrible. The water was so questionable. I was not going to be using that water at all, which sucked because I'd planned to take a shower the next morning, and I couldn't because I just did not trust that water whatsoever. And I also couldn't brush my teeth with the sink water either. It looked suspicious and not good whatsoever. I did not like it. So I ended up brushing my teeth with the fluids that I brought along to drink. It was not just plain water, unfortunately. If I'd known, I would have just brought water. But I brought cordial with water in it, or however you want to explain it. So I had to use that to flush my mouth and to pour on my toothbrush to get all the toothpaste off, which was not great and really just made me feel really disgusting and did not help the entire experience. I just started feeling really gross and overstimulated. The mold actually triggered some cold-like symptoms in myself, and I've been recovering from that since we got back on Saturday, so I've not been feeling well. It has not helped my lack of spoons throughout the week. The sun was out the next day, which was nice and actually helped a little bit because I did not have a good night at all. I tried to sleep, but it was really hard to breathe because of whatever it was that the mold was causing to happen inside of my body. And I woke up a few times as well, just because I couldn't breathe or something like that. And I didn't have a great night, so I was quite tired as well. And I woke up much earlier than my alarm, and I kind of just sat there awake for a while. This is me ready day of with my little Sylvie, emotional support Sylvie as I called her. I didn't get to shower like I said before, so I was feeling pretty gross with my slightly greasy hair, but there was not much I could do. As we were leaving the place that we stayed at, I did not think I would be able to eat breakfast. We went out to go get some food at a shop nearby, just like a meal deal and stuff, and I swear my stomach was in my throat. I was really, really nervous and overthinking everything, and my brain was going a mile a minute. I could not quiet it down, no matter how hard I tried. We ended up parked outside the assessment building for a while because we'd left the room quite early to get food because I was not going to stay there any longer than I had to. So I was out there for about an hour, trying to eat to the best of my abilities and self-regulating through music because music really helps. So I was listening to a lot of music and eating as much as I could, but I really couldn't eat very much. So I didn't eat as much as I normally would have done.
1, 2, 3.
The assessment ended up going really well. This is me in the bathroom afterwards. As you can see, I'm feeling a lot better, looking a lot better, looking a lot less terrified and scared. The whole building was beautiful, actually. There was a mirror that looked amazing. I wanted to take a little bit of a video of it, but I didn't really want to stay in there longer than I had to, and the lady actually ended up coming down and checking up on me because I hadn't left yet and she was wondering what was going on, so I just took a quick picture and left. As we were driving away, I was feeling a lot better than I did before, still quite nauseous, and I ended up feeling quite hungry. I also lost the backs to my Risley pin, which really saddened me. So I had to take him off and put him in the bag so I wouldn't lose him. I ended up eating my lunch after the assessment instead of midway through the assessment because there was the option to take breaks and stuff, but I just sat through and went through all of it. So I ate my Southern fried chicken wrap in the car afterwards instead of during lunch, while Peeps went to go inside and grab a Coke and I think Oreos actually. But it was really nice to just sit in the petrol station and just eat my food and listen to music and wind down afterwards. I felt a lot better. There was a huge mental load off of me, and I was just excited to go home because I was still feeling quite crap because of the room that we stayed in. That mold, I'm quite sensitive to mold, and it really, really affected me. The Coke bottle that I had a lovely name on there. After I had my lunch, I really enjoyed the Oreos that were bought as well. So I munched on that a lot. We ended up getting 2 packets, but I only ate 1 packet during the trip home. So I had a leftover packet at home, which I shared with the Peeps in the house. Throughout the drive over, I was having a lot of conflicting thoughts and feelings. I both wanted to get the result, and I didn't want to get the result. There were so many different sides to it that I was just constantly on the fence and didn't know what result or outcome I wanted. And it helped in one way because I decided, okay, I don't know which one I want either. That means there's no pressure for me to hope for one. I can just sit with it and let it happen. Let happen what will happen. I didn't have to stress about it. So it helped me not think about that as much. But it was still a new place, and going and talking to someone new that stressed me out a little bit. The drive over was really, really lovely though. The scenery was gorgeous and it was really nice weather, so it wasn't, depressing weather or anything like that, or weather that made me extra stressed. Something I also noticed was that up near Manchester, there are so many more motorcycles than there are down where I live, which is kind of upsetting because I love motorcycles and I love seeing motorcycles when I go out. So can we move some of the motorcycles down here, please? Because that would be amazing. Part of the reason that I pursued an assessment was because I finally felt like I could. I finally had the support and the confirmation that, yeah, you're a little bit weird, I would pursue the assessment. And growing up and even now, I've always had really little weird things about me. Things with like texture, sounds, my senses are very sensitive, and I've also just had really weird mannerisms. I've, as I recently found out, been stimming a lot, and lots of just teeny little things that I didn't really think meant autism. I thought I was just a little bit quirky, but that actually ended up being autism. So, things like the stimming of clicking my fingers, or like moving my nose. I used to twitch my nose a lot, or the vocal stims that I have sometimes where I just repeat the same thing over and over again like a parrot. Those turned out to be stimming. which I didn't really know, or my forgetfulness, that's textbook ADHD from what I know. My tendency to procrastinate, my short attention span, all these little weird hyperactive thingies that I have turned out to be very much ADHD related, or my tendency to daydream. I have a huge tendency to daydream, and I was often not fully there. I'm very often not fully around. I'm not always fully present. I'm always daydreaming, always thinking about something else. Turns out that's ADHD for me. My inability to keep a routine and to have a very messy room and lifestyle also tended to be ADHD, as it turns out. And with the autism, there was, as I said before, stimming, there was vocal stims, physical stims, stuff like that. There was also my way of communication is a little bit different, or the way I understand things is a little bit different. The way I do friends is a little bit different. And I do friendships in a very, very different way. And it's not how society does it. So privately, I do it like that, but then outwardly to other people, I'll do it the way society deems it, because it's just a lot easier that way. But I ended up explaining my way of viewing friendship to the lady that I was being assessed by, and she thought that's actually a really interesting way of looking at it, and she thought that it would be really interesting if I made a video about it, because I told her what my job was, or if there was some kind of book or post about it. So I've thought about maybe doing that, but I'm getting off topic. The way I do friends is differently, which also turned out to be an autism thing. And then my tendency to get so deeply interested in something that I forget to take care of myself, or to get focused on something that I forget to take care of myself, is I think both autism or ADHD. I'm not fully sure what is what, because I've been lumped with both, and so I'm not entirely sure what thing is specific to what. I just know that it makes me neurospicy, as I like to say. A little bit different, a little bit quirky. So that intense interest or focus to the point of not taking care of myself, also autism ADHD kind of thing. Or how I have so many that I'm so hyper focused on all the time. I have so many of them I can't keep track of them. Or how I have ones that I really want. I have, interests and hobbies that I really want to do, but I get overwhelmed at the thought of starting them, because if it's, say, writing or starting a crochet project, something that requires more than just a quick thing, like watching a show or playing a game, that's then too overwhelming, which can also be a autism ADHD thing. And so many things that I didn't think were actually autism or ADHD turned out to be reasons why I'm probably autistic and got ADHD, which was really funny because I've known quite a bit about autism for a while because my sister's autistic, but not in the way that I'm autistic. I didn't know that all of these things that I thought made me also made me autistic, So highly recommend reading up on it and seeing if you relate to any of these things, because I didn't really relate to my sister's type of autism, but I really relate to my type of autism and ADHD, which is really, really funny. I find it funny anyway. And there's just lots of little thingies, and I can't recall them all right now, but there are a lot of them. Overall, I'm quite happy I pursued this assessment. It's given me a lot to think about, and it might even help me further down the line, because as I've said before, I want to go to uni, and I may be able to get support so that I'm able to go to uni, and I may even get cut some slack by people socially now, because I can just say, oh, well, actually I'm autistic, so, or, oh, I've got ADHD, so I don't quite understand this, or I don't quite do it like that, and things like that. Because growing up, I was expected of a lot of things. There were a lot of expectations on me, and if I had had the label back then, I think people would have been more compassionate and understanding towards me instead of treating me the way they did, which doesn't sound great, but people are gonna be people. But it would have explained things and really helped socially. I think there could have been a lot of potholes and a lot of things that happened to me that could have been avoided if I could have said, well, actually I'm different, so you can't expect me to be the same as you. You can't expect me to act the way you want me to act, because I'm not like that. I'm actually very different. And then maybe those expectations wouldn't have been as crushing, or I would not have had those misunderstandings happen, because I could have said, well, I don't understand, can you explain it please? Or, if I didn't understand something, maybe people may have been nicer about it instead of treating me the way they did. When I got home, I was just absolutely exhausted and completely mentally drained. So I ended up taking a little bit of dinner and going up to my room and watching Race to the Edge, which is an amazing How to Train Your Dragon show if you guys know it. And it really helped me mentally de-stress and just recharge, and I felt so much better afterwards. It's been a little over a week since we came back, and it's been a very strange week. I found out about my results the Monday after, so 2 days after I came back, I immediately found out, which didn't leave me a lot of time to process the actual trip itself, and now I've had to process both the trip and the results that I got, which has just been a huge mental load for me. There's been a lot of pondering, a lot of coming to terms with stuff, and it was a lot. I know I already said that, but it really was a lot. Just for lack of a better word, it was a lot. Not all the reactions of people were great. I got some reactions that were less than what I was hoping for, and I also just got reactions of, oh, that's great, or thank you for telling me, or, you know, I knew it, kind of stuff like that, or I'm not surprised. So there were a mix of reactions, but there were definitely a couple of unpleasant reactions, which weren't great to deal with. But, you know, when finding out that you have autism and ADHD, people are gonna react however they're gonna react, and you can't always control that. So yeah, I got diagnosed with both autism and ADHD. I honestly wasn't sure what I was thinking I would get. I wasn't sure whether I'd only have one, whether I'd have both, whether I'd come with none. So it was interesting to find out, and it both feels a little bit weird and kind of right. It's given a big sense of relief. There's just a huge weight off of my chest now, with a new kind of weight on that, but we'll get to that when we'll get to that. I don't know when I'll deal with that. It's just a couple of lingering fears around how I'll be treated and things like that, and I'll deal with it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All in all, I think getting the result has been very helpful and useful. It's helped me understand myself in some ways a lot better, and it's helped me cut myself some slack. Even though I try to cut myself some slack, and even though I love myself, I can still be very self-critical and very judgmental, and that little voice inside my head is very loud and very aggressive, unfortunately. And getting this result has been able to give myself a bit of understanding towards myself. You know, I procrastinate or I forget things a lot. Those can be signs of ADHD and or autism, and knowing that that's what I'm dealing with kind of makes sense, and I hate myself a little bit less every time I forget something or when I procrastinate something to the point where it's either too late or I'm rushing to get it done, you know? But having the label has also really helped in ways that I can now find targeted advice for myself. I can find ways to deal with and or cope or get around the things that I'm struggling with. For example, my procrastination or my struggling with routines. I can now find targeted advice for that. I can Google how to set up a routine as someone with ADHD, or how to do this as someone with autism, or how to, and then I can finally start living life in a way that I want, because I've always struggled trying to do habits, trying to set up routines, trying to do this, trying to do that. Some things I just really struggle with. Sometimes even my attention span, I really struggle with that. But if I can find targeted advice, that might help more than just blindly searching for something, you know? Blindly trying things with trial and error, because while trial and error can be great, targeted advice that you know is going to work or will most likely work or is built for people like you can be really, really helpful and useful. I have not told everyone yet. I've told some people, but I haven't really let my community know yet. I've told my family, I've told a couple of friends, but I haven't really told my community yet, and I honestly don't know how I want to tell everyone. I could do it as an announcement, I could talk about it in stream, I could also just announce it through this YouTube video. I have not quite decided yet. And I did have a while where I questioned whether I wanted to actually post this. Initially, I thought, yes, I want to post this, I want to make this video because it's good to spread awareness about women, especially with ADHD and autism, because it is completely so underdiagnosed, so overly underdiagnosed. Most people don't get diagnosed until much later in life. So it's spreading awareness about people who do get diagnosed later in life, but also about the fact that it is so underdiagnosed that we need more of it. But also maybe someone can relate to me and maybe my story will help them. But another part of me didn't want to share this, because if you've been in my streams before, you know that I have the opinion that some things should just be private. You know, there are lots of couples on Instagram who like to share very spicy things for no reason, or people who just share things a little bit too close or share information about others. So there are certain lines that I think shouldn't be crossed, and I've really had to ponder whether I'm crossing any of those lines. And I don't really think I'm crossing a line that I already haven't crossed, or, you know, I haven't really drawn that line. But I've spoken about lots of deep topics, whether it's just philosophical stuff or personal stuff or anything like that. I've spoken about this, so it's not out of the norm for me. And I'm only sharing what I'm comfortable with, and I have a purpose with why I'm sharing this story, as I previously mentioned with my reasons for why I want to share this. So I pondered it for a while. Part of me said, you know, I'm not going to post this. I can't post this. This is too real, too much information. Nobody's going to want to know about this. But then what about the people that could benefit from this information, that could benefit from my story? I know I've watched videos like this of other people, and it has really helped me, even if it's just making me feel less alone. So if my story helps anyone in any way by maybe deciding to get assessed yourself, or just make your day better, or just make you feel a little bit less alone, then I think I did my job. Then this video has been a success. Then it's done exactly what it's been posted for, which is all I can ever really want, really. With this whole assessment journey, I've really realized that there's a lot of things that have happened to me over the years that could have been avoided if we had known. Could have been avoided if there was any kind of proof, you know, because having an inkling, having a hunch doesn't do jack shit unless you know for sure. And my mum, for the longest time, had hunches, had inklings, had thoughts, but it never really went anywhere. The people around her didn't make that possible. I don't know if life will change. I don't know how much it will or will not change. But life's gonna be a little bit different from now on, I guess. It is gonna change. Life is gonna change, because I know now, you know, it's gonna be a change, even if it's tiny. And it could be that the only change there is the fact that I'm aware now, and that other people are aware now, you know, and that we know. But it's changed. There's a change, and change is a little bit scary sometimes. That's another thing, apparently, that's autistic of me, is my aversion to certain types of change. It's not all things, but it's very specific stuff. I don't like it when it changes. Can't handle that, don't like it. So I've been learning a lot about me, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of pondering, and it's been quite, I guess, lonely. I've been really in my head a lot the past week. Really, really in my head. And just thinking and sorting through everything. And I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it's tiring, and it's taking a lot of my spoons. So I don't really know when this video will be out. Hopefully soon. But with my lack of spoons, there's not a lot of energy left to do the editing and any other things that I might have to do. I'm not entirely sure how to end this off now. I've said pretty much all I've wanted to say, and I don't really have to do a YouTube outro style type thing. I've done Twitch outros for ages, but it's kind of just a we're gonna raid out goodbye type of thing. But this is just a final ending. There's no raiding out, there's no let's go see what this person's up to. just a full stop kind of thing. So I hope that this video has helped someone in any way, either by making them feel less alone and letting them relate, or just giving someone something to watch that they were curious about, or maybe you've even decided to go for an assessment yourself after hearing my story. Either way, I hope this video has helped in some way, has been a tiny drop of positivity in your life. That's all I can really hope for and ask for. Strange that this is my first kind of YouTube video that I'm going to be posting, considering most of my content is gaming. But yeah, thank you for watching. Kind of feel like I have to do that whole thing of where you say, like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, but that feels kind of weird to me, so if you want to, do that. If you don't do that. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable. I'm not here to pressure anyone into anything. I'm just here to share my story. But yeah, this is, I guess, the end of the video. There's not much more else left for me to say, really. So have a wonderful rest of wherever you are, whatever time it is for you. And I will catch you guys in the next video.